How about yesterday? How about an all-timer? How about an all-timer yesterday? Look, we want to hear from everyone. I mean, there's so many ways to go with this. And we'll cover, frankly, as much of it as we can, including playing audio from yesterday and audio through the years of Kelce. Just a remarkable career, 13 years, obviously a Super Bowl champ, a Philadelphia sports legend. I mean, yesterday was poignant, powerful, insightful. I mean, I remember Schmitty crying after Schmitty retired. I remember Brian Dawkins crying when he didn't retire, but when he was leaving Philadelphia in that Derek Gunn interview. I mean, yesterday, John, give me, yesterday specifically. I expected a lot, and it way exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were enormous. I'm talking just yesterday. John, what hit you from yesterday?
Wow. Yesterday, I was a mess throughout. Personally, watching Jason be a mess. Before he even started talking, you could tell that it was in him. He was going to struggle, and immediately I was, and I did not expect that. This is not, this is like uncharted territory for me to be unable to function.
Were you in Joe DeCamera territory of
Absolutely.
Did you cry? Did you cry?
I was bawling. I was bawling.
A lot of people did. I know they did.
I mean, this is really. I'm laughing at myself a little bit because I can't control it now.
Wow.
This morning, talking to Joe Wechter, we're walking in. He said, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to laugh this off. It's not funny. I don't know how to react.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Look,
this is affecting me so much more than it should.
Why do you think that is?
Because he was so much more to me than most players, and I identified with him.
Yep.
I think.
Sure.
In a lot of ways that I didn't even realize.
Well, take a breath here, my man. Listen, there's a lot going on. Obviously, there was a lot of people throughout the Delaware Valley that cried yesterday. I mean, as you said, John, he was crying right from the jump. He was crying before he spoke. I mean, he sat down and tears started flying and flowing, and it was also.
I guess I get it now.
Get what?
How that can happen.
Yeah.
I certainly,
Yep.
I'm able to get together a little bit better now. I get it. That was remarkable to me how much it meant to him, and I could feel it, and then it just. The floodgates opened.
Yeah.
That's during, while I'm watching on my phone, and it was an hour. I wished it felt to me like when I watched Species 2, and I wished it was 10 hours long, even though it was a terrible movie. I really loved watching it. This was one of those I wished I could have watched on my phone forever. I knew it was going to end. I knew when it ended that he would be done playing for us, so I didn't want it to end.
You know what's funny? You know what's actually ironic? How it took, I don't know, we could figure it out, but about 35 to 40 minutes for him to actually say, I'm retired.
Yeah. And there was something deep down where I was like, maybe he's going to.
Well, I was thinking it'd be hilarious if he did the whole thing and then was like, so with all that, I'm back for a year, guys.
Exactly. No, it was, by the way, let's listen to the moment where he actually announced the retirement. It was very deep in the press conference. It was basically near the very, very, very end. Again, you can weigh in on all of this at 215-592-9494. Listen to the moment when Kelce, deep in the press conference, finally said, yep, that's a wrap.
And so this all brings us here to today, where I announce that I am retiring. Where I announce I'm retiring from the NFL after 13 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. And today, I must admit, I am officially overrated. Vastly overrated. But it took a lot of hard work and determination getting here. I have been the underdog my entire career, and I mean this when I say it. I wish I still was. Few things gave me more joy than proving someone wrong. My mother used to tell people, and still says to this day, if you want Jason to do something, all you have to do is tell him he can't. and that was true in more ways than I care to admit. I relish doubters. They fueled a fire within. I suspect that comes from an upbringing where my parents would tell me, Jason, you can be anything in this world you want to, as long as you put your mind to it and work hard to achieve it.
Like I said, it was powerful and it was poignant. And look, that was only a small snippet of a long press conference, and we're going to air so much of it as we move through today and certainly react with you at 215-592-9494. We want to hear your tributes to Kelce, what he meant to the Eagles, what he meant to Philadelphia, what he meant to you, your favorite memories and moments, obviously, that stood out, where he ranks amongst the other Eagles players and other Philadelphia athletes across the other sports. Look, all of it at 215-592-9494. Seltzer, you've gotten to know him over the last couple of years, and obviously it's a player we long admired prior to knowing him on a personal level. What hit you with yesterday in the whole shebang?
Yeah, look, I was crying yesterday, too, multiple times throughout the speech. I got to chug a beer against the guy because of him, because he was like, hey, let's do this. Yeah. No one's ever related to us as fans better than this guy. No one's ever understood us and who we are and what makes us tick better than this guy. And personally, I started my career in 2011. Like, that's when I went back to grad school. I got an internship with you at the beginning of 2012. I met you. Yep. I started working with the Eagles in 2012. Like, my career has been the exact same as Jason Kelce. I've never worked in this business without him. He's like the guy with the exact same timeline as me. And I was in the Eagles locker room talking to him when we were both starting and all that. And it's just, I felt it a lot yesterday, man. Yeah. I felt it a lot, like personally and for the city. It really hit me hard.
You know, there's so many ways to go with all this. There's Kelce, the player. There's Kelce, as James alluded to, who got us the connection to Philadelphia. There's the fact he's just a good dude. There's no getting around that. He's just a quality human being. That's entirely obvious. And it came through, every which way through so many years. Rhea, what hit you either from yesterday or the career? What's top of mind for you right now?
That he epitomizes exactly what Philadelphia, thinks it is. It's, that's what makes him relatable. Underestimated, overlooked, tough.
Yeah.
But at their very core, extremely emotional.
Yeah.
We are an extremely emotional town, fan base, and I think that's why we get him and he gets us.
I thought of the movie Rocky yesterday. I thought specifically of Rocky because, for 50 years now, we've been glorifying a fictional character. And I'm glad to do so. Like, it's made my life happier to glorify a fictional character because it's brought, I think Rock's brought a lot of people a lot of joy here and a lot of pride, frankly. But I'm watching it yesterday, and it dawned on me, like, this was like Rocky, but it was real. This was real. This wasn't like some fake guy. This was our dude. And by the way, can remain our dude. Now, we're not going to see him play football anymore. And yeah, that's going to hurt the Philadelphia Eagles, and hopefully they rebound better out of, the post-Kelce thing than the Eagles did out of the post-Doc thing, or the Phils did out of the post-Schmitty thing. Sometimes you have relative, like when the Flyers, when Bobby Clark was done, they cranked it up again really quick. They were in the finals in 85. They were in the finals in 87. That wasn't long after Clark retired, obviously, a few years prior to that. So you can come out of this, fairly quick if you make smart decisions. And obviously they began that process a couple years ago when they drafted Cam Jurgens. We know what a total disaster the safety situation was for the Eagles after Doc, and really not until Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod settled it down. You felt like you didn't have anybody back there. For Seltzer, remember that for like 5 years they didn't have a safety.
Oh yeah, buddy.
They had like no safeties for 5 years.
It was rough.
It was really rough.
Yeah.
So look, there's so much to this. We want to hear from you at 215-592-9494. There's no question he got us. There's no question about that. He got us. The connection to the city was immense. Yesterday was incredible. And, of course, you can't go any further without saying Super Bowl 52 champion. And we'll never know without whom that Super Bowl would not have been won. I don't think they would have won it without Nick Foles. I feel really confident of that. And I don't, it's not a tremendously long list because you could take out one guy and probably still win the Super Bowl with the collection of the rest. But there's a really good chance you remove Kelce, you don't win that Super Bowl.
Oh,
there's a really, 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 really good chance without Kelce.
the quarterback of the offensive line making calls? Yes, absolutely.
Especially with the quarterback changeover.
Quarterback change.
Yeah, I mean, think about how important
No,
he was in
quarterback
that.
Quarterback
Can you
change.
imagine
Yeah.
all those meetings with the changeover of the offense? He had to be a major part of all of that, and we've never even delved into that.
Yeah.
We've never even discussed how deep that must have gotten.
Look-
this guy made offensive line cool again. This guy, no, seriously,
No, you're right.
he and his coach, Jeff Stoutland, they drew attention to the offensive line on a national stage because they were so excellent. And what he did is so unique. The ability to snap the ball and then pull, that is weird, guys. And he was great at it. Yeah. And he pointed out a young man in Cam Jurgens who can do a lot of the same stuff. That is a wonderful position he's left us in. That's as good as it gets for us as an organization, as fans. It didn't make it any easier yesterday, and the fact that he made it so cool to watch. The fact that he is the leader of this team, not just in spirit, but in X's and O's, making all these calls out there. How do you replace that? He is an additional coach out there every day. And he, like I said, he really is He's the spirit animal. He's the spirit animal, and then the wise leader on top of it, and then the badass. Like I'm gonna beat anyone down who rises up to challenge Philadelphia kind of guy. He is the perfect representation of us and what we want to be.
I agree.
And yesterday was, I thought it was a fitting send-off. For Jason Kelce, but it was so different. It was so different, and I was so glad that he was afforded that opportunity because he deserves that and then some.
Look, it was an all-timer. We want to hear from you at 215-592-9494. Your opportunity to pay tribute to Kelce today. We'll play a lot of audio from yesterday. We'll play a lot of audio through the years, and we'll do it all with you on the phone lines. 215-592-9494. Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie. It's 94 WIP.